And welcome back to a fresh episode of the Business Growth Show. I'm your host, Sam Dunning, co-owner over at webchoiceuk.com. And today I'm joined by Ty Frankel. Ty teaches agency owners how you can scale super fast. He owns and runs Agency Empire, a robust growth platform and community for agency owners. Ty, welcome to the show, sir. How's it going?
Sam, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
No worries, dude. Looking forward to it. So, we're going to be chatting and sharing all about how you can easily book meetings using LinkedIn with those big, juicy companies and start landing some high value, high ticket deals, my friend.
Yes,
So,
sir.
first and foremost, why, if anyone tuning in isn't yet using LinkedIn to generate leads, generate business, why should they be on the platform?
Uh, it's easy.
Simple
That's
as.
really it. Simple, it's easy. You create a post. It might take you 10, 15 minutes a day. If you're a little more experienced, it'll take you less and less time and just make your profile look really good. And it's just like a beautiful place to grow your network, to get new deals, to build relationships and friendships. It's so high leverage. So I would recommend everyone grow their personal brand, I guess, on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, for example, here at Web Choice, without boring everyone with the details too much, I think right now it's our third best performing channel, and that's just from the organic content I put out. So we do about six figures roughly a year just through the LinkedIn content.
Crazy. Congrats,
And
man.
that's no cheers, dude. And that's under SEO and PPC, which are kind of the first and second top spot. But if I can do it, then anyone can. And you're going to share with us some strategies. I'm going to learn some stuff, and everyone tuning in should as well. Um, and on that note, you mentioned kind of LinkedIn can be good for other things, not just generating business, but partnerships, referrals, and stuff like that. Because I know when I first joined back, however many years it was, I just thought it was an online CV. And obviously, over the years, the platform itself has grown and changed and evolved, and a lot of people have come and made fortunes from that. Are there certain usages you find that have been prominent for yourself in terms of getting things out of LinkedIn?
Yeah, growing my network. I One thing I like to do is I like to connect with people that are doing cool shit, and I like to talk to them and try to help them out with whatever they're doing. Whether that's if I can make an intro, if I could send them resources, if I can give them a little bit of knowledge, if there's any way I could help out, and just build my network that way. And then so many more things open up. Like the bigger your network is, the more deep and intimate your relationships are with people inside your Rolodex and in your network. The more leverage you have to do anything in business. So if you want to get, partnerships, referrals, if you want to know XYZ, if you want to hire someone, right, you could reach out to your network and try to hire someone. If you want an introduction made to a specific person, you could go out and ask people and see on LinkedIn if anyone is connected to them and ask them for a warm intro where you're guaranteed basically to get a reply. So it's just a great place to facilitate almost every single thing you do in business, right? You can connect with people anywhere from people that are unemployed on LinkedIn to CEOs of $100 million and billion-dollar SaaS companies. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like you say, the possibilities is endless. And I suppose, unlike a lot of channels, you can quite literally hunt for the target customer that you want using the search facility, and you've got so many options in terms of finding them, outreaching to them, using their network, leveraging your network, your friend's network, etc., which I'm sure we'll get into. So, with that all said, sir, what is the process? How does one go about booking meetings with ideal clients? What are, I guess, to kick this off, what are the initial considerations we need to think about before we start, I guess, connecting with people, sending sales pitches, or do we even do
Yeah.
that? Let me know what your process is.
So there's a few different strategies, right? And one strategy I have now actually, so I have a membership site and like a growth platform for agency owners.
Right.
And I have an offer that's just so damn good for SaaS companies. I basically say, hey, I'm going to give you free distribution inside Agency Empire. Like, let's work together. Give my members a discount. I'll give my members access to your software. They'll discover it. They'll use the code or link or whatever, and sign up and become your customers. And that offer is just so good. The SaaS companies are losing nothing by doing that. All they're doing is just gaining, right? So if you have an offer that's just that good, then it's very easy to sell on LinkedIn. It's very easy to do cold email and things like that. The thing is, like, offer is everything, right? Offer is everything on LinkedIn. Offer is everything on cold email. So how to make your offer great? Obviously, make sure that they can make a lot of money, save a lot of money, or save a lot of time. Dang, my whole nose is itching here. Crazy. But make a lot of money, save a lot of money, or save a lot of time. And then mitigate any downside or risk, right? So it's like, okay, for example, if you're selling a service for $3,000 a month, offer a money back guarantee with that, right? If you're selling a service for $3,000 a month, think of doing a performance-based deal, because then the risk is they're not paying you $3,000 every month. Instead, they're just paying you money on a percentage on money they actually make. So there are different things you can do to improve your offer. Once that's done, you want to personalize at a very high level. And that's not just using someone's first name, right? That's actually going and writing content, the actual body of the outreach message about that specific person, about their company, about where they went to school, whatever. If I would write it about me, for example, right, I would write, and feel free to look at my LinkedIn profile for a reference, but I would write like, hey, Ty, Agency Empire looks awesome for agency owners, and I can't believe you produce songs for Fortnite. That's my favorite video game. Something like that, where it's like, okay, this person really took the time to actually do at least a little bit of research about me, right? Do that, and then you could put a good amount of social proof in the middle with a CTA. You can make a sales pitch. If it's like, for example, my sales pitch for these SaaS companies is, hey, could get you distribution. It's literally 4 words, right? Could get you distribution. Let's talk. And when your offer is that good, that's all you got to do. You don't have to have this huge paragraph. You don't have to go back and forth 10 messages, right? Trying to build a relationship with them or whatever. You could just state your offer in a small amount of words and actually get a lot of interest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's some useful stuff around offer. I guess making it irresistible, eliminating risk, and adding that trust element with things like social proof, reviews, testimonials, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of strategy tactics. In terms of, I guess, have you got any advice, Ty, around how we should? So let's say, for example, say it's perhaps we're a SaaS company, and we want to bring on board some, I don't know, we need to target some CROs, chief revenue officers, or sales directors, or whatever the job role we're going after that typically buy our stuff. What's your process for actually nailing down? Do you make a list of people you want to target using LinkedIn and then start messaging them with your approach there? Or is there another way we need to do it? Or is it a bit more randomized? Or how does it work for you?
Man, on LinkedIn, they just imposed that 100 new connections a week limit, or 100 connection requests a week limit, 100 to 150, I think. So that kind of messed with the automation. Like, before, you could send an unlimited amount of connection requests. I'm pretty sure that messes with it. So what you want to do now is you want to get the most out of every single connection request, right? So it's like, why not do it manually? Of course, have some templates that you use, but those templates need to include a good amount of personalization. You could also include, what I like to do is I like to include a PS at the end and put another little bit of personalization in there as well. But in terms of targeting, using Sales Navigator is really good to get to someone very, very specific. Or you could just use LinkedIn's built-in search. And I mean, you could only send 100 to 150 connection requests a week. So what I do is I do it all manually, because the offer is just like worth so much to me in Agency Empire, right? If we get one SaaS company, it's worth it doing manual outreach. But what you could also do is you could hop on one of these automation platforms like Expandy. I know we have like a 30% discount in there, in Agency Empire, actually, on Expandy. hop on one of these platforms, set up your campaigns, your drip campaigns, have 3 or 4 messages, right? So it's like you have the connection message, you have all these follow-up messages once they do connect, if they don't respond to it. And once they respond, the campaign's over. Now you have to get in there manually and start messaging back and forth. But make sure you have actually compelling copy, and you make it personalized, you make it benefit driven. You're addressing a serious problem they have. Because all the connection requests that I get, literally, I go through the connection requests, they're just horrible. And they're like centered about, they're like about you. It's all about me. It's like, hey, Ty, I'm looking to expand my network.
Yep.
Why do I care about what you're trying to do? Everyone is selfish inherently. You want to make it about the other person, right? Personalize it, not just first name. Make it about the other person, benefit driven, address a real problem, and you'll be successful. I mean, you just got to target well, right? Make sure whoever you're reaching out to has a problem.
Yeah, you're exactly right in terms of the connection requests. I mean, I'm sure you're just like me. You get tons a day, and half of them are just saying, "I want to do X, Y, Z," or "I want to join your network," or "I want to sell you this shit," or whatever it might be. And it's like you could literally look at my profile for 5 seconds, rip off something from there, put my name in, and that would be better than what you're doing. And I'm probably going to click accept if you do.
Exactly.
Rather than
I click accept every time on a personalized request. Like if it's well personalized, I realize that person has high self-awareness, so they're probably going to be successful in business. That's just an indicator. If someone sends personalized outreach, something that's very personalized, it's like, oh, they do LinkedIn outreach well, so they probably do other things very well. So I accept it more times than not. If it's not, if it's like, I'd like to add you to my network, I literally ignore all of those.
Yeah, I guess it puts you on a good footing, a good starting point if you get that right when you're actually doing the initial personalized request and taking the time to look at that profile. Sure. Once you have connected, is there any etiquette to actually doing that initial, do we call it a pitch, in terms of the framework you've just shared with there, in terms of how you put your message across in your offer? Or should we just go for it straight away? Or what have you seen that's working for you or clients?
What's working for me is just to pitch in the connection request. And the offer is just so good. I'm just like, basically how my format is with these SaaS companies that I want to, get inside agency empire. Hey, first name. And then I write a personalized first line about them specifically, right? I give you guys an example of one I would write about myself. And then I literally just write, could get you distribution. Let's talk, Ty. And I've gotten meetings with like CEOs of like $50 million, $100 million SaaS companies off that message alone. So the personalization kind of breaks down the barrier of them actually giving attention to your outreach. Okay, this person did research about me. He knows about me. Maybe what he's offering actually is catered to me directly. So I'm going to actually read the rest of his pitch now, or read the rest of his connection message. Not everyone has as good as offer as I have for SaaS companies, right? So what you want to do is you want to have social proof. What I like doing is a 1 to 2 sentence case study, right? You could say, like, let's say you're a Facebook ads agency. You could be like, just made an extra 30K a month revenue for X company. Let's chat about doing the same, or something like that, where you have social proof, you have that greeting, personalized first line, you have some kind of social proof, and you have a CTA.
Yep.
On LinkedIn, people say it's different. Okay, they like to do social selling, but for me, like, if your offer is just that good, why are you wasting time with a prospect? Like, they're not going to appreciate you 10, 15, 20 messages, and then you go and sell them on something. They're going to suss that out more often than not. So what I would do, and what's worked for me, is just go straight for the sell in the connection. Not for the sell, sorry, you want to sell a phone call. You're not selling your service.
Sure.
Right. So sell a phone call on the connection message. If you have a really great offer and you personalize it, it's going to do well more often than not.
Got it. I like that because it's different, and there's a lot of people that say you shouldn't kind of pitch or do anything like that in the connection request. And I kind of like the fact that you're being transparent, because ultimately social selling, even if you are just putting out organic posts on LinkedIn, the for me, certainly, the reason I talk about websites and SEO and give tips every day is because I want people to come to me when they
Right.
need those services. I'm not doing it for my health. I'm doing it for the business's wealth. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's very bluntly put.
You know why they say don't pitch? Because they're really saying don't pitch if your pitch sucks and if your offer sucks.
Mm,
If your pitch is really good and your offer is just really good, it would really improve a prospect's life. It's low risk, right? And the upside is great.
yeah,
The prospect wants you to pitch them. They want their life to improve. They want to, if you target well, they're going to want to buy your service a lot of the time. So you're improving people's lives. That's the mindset you have to have. You can't have the mindset of, oh, I don't want to pitch because I have to get them to know them first. My offer isn't good enough. No, improve your offer. So it's really, really, really good. It's unique. It's not a $3,000 Facebook ads retainer that everyone's pitching you left and right. It's more unique than that. If you're selling Facebook ads, you can make your offer more unique than that, right? So if your offer truly improves your prospects' lives, pitch them. But you pitching a phone call. You're not like, hey, let's get started today in the message. You're like, hey, let's hop on a call or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. You're selling the very first meeting or whatever that might be in your sales process. Gotcha. So let's say we get a connection accepted, but perhaps they don't respond to the message. Is there like a follow-up process that you've got, Ty, or is there some kind of sequence that we should do to then kind of follow up that message with?
Yeah, you could do a quick bump. It depends on your first message, what it was. Did you actually try to sell a phone call, or were you trying to do some social selling? If you're trying to do social selling, that's fine. It works. So build a relationship with them in that case. Find out what their pain points are. Try to help them out. If you have any free resources, send it their way.
Yep.
Comment on their posts or whatever, like build a relationship, right? And then you could sell on the back end. Cool. But if you're trying to sell right away, then you could bump it up, hey, just checking in. Did you see this? Or literally just have to, what's it called? Shift 6, like where it says like the little triangle. That's what I like to do. It has like a little triangle and like, hey, I just post, it's kind of reminding them, hey, I sent you this message before. The key also is like non-neediness. People really sense if you're needy. So you want to keep your messages short. If you have really long messages, people either think you're copying and pasting them, templates, or you're just super needy, which indicates you have a low quality product or service you're trying to sell them. If you're not needy, you don't care, you just send them the 2 quick triangles or whatever, just, hey, see what I posted as a follow-up. That indicates non-neediness. It's just a quick, short message, right? That's something I like doing. And then I like also adding more social proof. Okay. So you could be like, hey, just got another, huge win for X client. We got Y result or whatever. Let's talk. Or are you free, next week to chat? Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically the opposite of all the sales pitches that I imagine anyone that's on LinkedIn is getting, where you just get like a 3-paragrapher that just says, we work for XY company. Let me introduce myself. We won awards for XYZ. Here's our work. When is a great time for a 45-minute consult call? And by the time you've read it, you've fallen asleep, you need a beer, and you're ready to finish. So, yeah.
That's funny, man.
Short and sweet and no attachment to the outcome. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So,
outcome independent, baby.
Those are all solid points. So that's kind of outreach and putting together tailored, personalized requests and messages to ideal prospects. Are there any other considerations we should think about on outbound, or should we now perhaps chat about kind of a few best practices when it comes to getting these meetings inbound on LinkedIn, Ty?
Yeah, I mean, with outbound, your profile really makes a difference as well.
Okay.
I mean, you got to have great social proof. If you have any testimonials, case studies, upload those. The amount of followers obviously makes a difference. I mean, sure, some people think it's important. Some think it's not, but it does. People go on your profile. They see 30,000 followers. They're going to, respect you. Even though maybe you don't deserve that respect, much more than they would respect someone with 200 connections. So followers are important. Get out there, start posting content, start getting it distributed, and just have a really good profile, because no one's going to respond to you on outbound, especially on LinkedIn, without clicking your profile first.
Yep.
I guarantee that there's like it's got to be like less than 5-10% of people who respond to a sales message without clicking the person they're responding to's profile. So you got to have high levels of social proof, of authority. Teach people about what you do. Teach people about your product or service or what you actually provide. If you teach someone, right, if you teach people through your content and people are commenting and they're learning and they're excited, people view you as this authority figure because you're teaching others how to do what you do, right? If you post results you did with other clients, that's really good. For example, you helped the e-com store, boost their revenue by $3 million. Write about that. Write about the results you did. Write about how you did that. And just build that authority. So when people now they click, you pitch them, you send outreach to them, they click your profile, you're just like this amazing person at what they do.
Yeah. Nice.
Important.
It's amazing how powerful LinkedIn can be. I don't know if I've shared this story before, but as I said, my posts are pretty much geared on educating people around websites, SEO, giving them tips, and then every now and then we'll share a case study. Now I've been doing that for 1.5, 2 years, something like that. And I guess the strongest example I've got is when someone referred me to a business for SEO in this case, and they basically said, look, you need to talk to Sam to help with your e-com store SEO to get you ranked on Google, etc. Set up a call with them because I'd never spoken to this person that referred me ever, by the way. He just introduced me straight away, said, look, can you get on a Zoom with this company that needs your help because I'm working with them on something else in their business? Introed me. It was basically sold before I even had to speak a word because he'd hyped me up so much because he'd been following me for so long. All they really asked was kind of, Sam, you need to learn a bit more about a business. What kind of solution would you recommend? And then they said, let's sign. So it just shows you how powerful this can be because people have bought into you from the content you're putting out over time, have built the trust in you as a kind of, I guess, expert in your field. That can come across. So if it can work for me, it can work for anyone. Just like it's working for you, Ty, and many other thousands, millions of people that are using the platform.
100%.
So we've done profile optimization a bit on the show before, but any kind of best practices, just a quick run through a few bullets in terms of kind of what people should consider on their profile, Ty?
Yeah, just a tagline that makes sense, that kind of, an external facing tagline, right? So someone reading your profile, you want to speak directly to them. And that's a theme throughout your whole profile. So speak directly to your prospects or customers or clients or whatever. And then high levels of social proof, keep it short. What I like to do is I like to be high energy and charismatic. I try to match my personality, how I am in real life. Talk like you would in real life. I mean, that's just basic copywriting. Talk like you would in real life. Most people don't do that. They try to be too formal. Casual doesn't mean unprofessional, right? Casual just means friendly and personable. It could mean very professional. So that's what I would recommend. And then just like incredibly high levels of social proof. Just build that up. Like that's what's going to invoke the trust in your prospect to actually want to reach back out to you. So case studies, testimonials, video testimonials, results you've gotten, all those are really good.
Yeah. So does that just mean kind of pasting a couple testimonials inside the profile about section, or what does that look like?
I would keep it. You could put it. No, I don't think you can put it in the about because it doesn't. You have to like triple click the link and paste it into your browser to see it. I'm pretty sure. So I think in experiences is good, right? If I'm not mistaken, I could be totally off base here, but in experiences is good. In your featured section is also really good. Like, especially if you're selling a service, it's really good. I mean, if you're building a personal brand, put your email newsletter in there, put your best offer that you're selling, maybe a top of the funnel offer, lead magnet, things like that. But if you're selling a service, put results in there, put testimonials in there, case studies, and just overload them with social proof. The more the merrier, basically. There's never enough social proof that you could provide.
Yeah. And in terms of the actual content, so I know Ty, on your post you get a heck of a lot of traction, as it were. You get a lot of views, you get a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of engagement. Are there any best practices or any tips, tricks, hacks that you could recommend when it comes to not only putting out content like we were talking about that kind of positions you as a trusted advisor in your space, so it also helps attract inbound as well as the outbound strategies, but any other ways for getting it distributed, um, and getting potential prospects to view your content?
Yeah. So what I do, and I'm not ashamed of this at all, bashful, whatever, is, and there's no reason to be, really. It's just a game that you're playing after all, right? So what I do is I pay 3 or 4 people, maybe 3 people now. I think one we ended the relationship with, where they have a big audience in a specific niche, and my niche probably marketing agencies, things like that, and we pay them every month, right? I pay them every month. I'm not going to disclose the amount, but they have hundreds of thousands of followers combined, 3 of these people, and they comment and like on every single one of my posts. And what that does is LinkedIn's algorithm now picks it up and it shows my posts to their followers,
Right.
right? And every single post that I make, you could pretty much guarantee 10,000 views. And I started doing this August 21st of
Okay.
2021. And you could see there's a stark difference. It's not because I started writing better content. It's not because anything else. It's because I started actually paying for distribution. I did that on LinkedIn. It worked really well. I did something similar, but a little different. And I actually wasn't paying on Twitter. I just had homies and friends who would like and reply, and retweet from time to time as well. But all social media is a content and a distribution game. And then your profile has to convert them. If you have great content, great. That's step one. If you have distribution, now you're getting a lot of eyeballs on your content. Okay, so they're going to click your profile and be curious about who you are. Now, if your profile converts them into leads or into customers or clients, now you're getting a shit ton of leads, customers, or clients. You're making a lot of money from your social media profile. So it's content, distribution, profile, and then whatever backend you have set up to get followers to convert them into actual money, right? Leads, customers, clients.
Yeah. That's nicely summed up, and that's a big part of it, right? Because especially when people start on LinkedIn, it's quite hard work, and it's also in the sense that you might put out a post, it might get 0 or 1 like, and then you might do this consistently for every once a day
It's
or
crazy.
once a weekday, and then you'll slowly get more and more engagement, more views, more likes, but it's not fast. Certainly from my experience, it took a long time to, and I still don't get masses of likes and comments on my post, which doesn't frustrate me too much because I'm gearing it to a specific audience that perhaps interested in what we offer. And every now and then we'll get inquiries. But what you've shared there, it sounds like it's almost a rocket booster to
It
get
really
your
is.
post in front of these contacts that have got massive networks. So all of their network, all of their thousands of contacts will then see your post. So then the potential is huge for getting that inbound because it's the distribution is massive. More people are going to
Yeah,
click through your profile, and then I guess more inbound leads.
that's what it is. And how you do it naturally is you build relationships with these people naturally. So if you don't want to pay people, great. First of all, it's going to be more inconsistent. No one's going to comment on your post every single day. They will from time to time, but it's most likely not who you want to do that. But what you can do if you want to do this for free is just build relationships with people that have a lot of engaged followers on LinkedIn. So how you build a relationship is basically how you do B2B outreach, other than you're not pitching a product or service. You're just adding value to their lives. So you suss out, first of all, you connect with them, make it personal. You suss out a specific problem that they might have. Okay. Maybe to fix that problem, you can make an introduction for them. Maybe you can provide them with a free resource. Maybe if you have a SaaS product or an info product or whatever, a service, you can provide them something for free. Okay. And you just keep adding value to their lives. You comment on their posts, you like their posts, you engage, you ask them questions. Okay. You don't waste their time. No one likes to waste time with a stranger. No one's just going to, hey, how are you doing? No one's going to reply to that. Send them a message with actual value.
Yep.
Okay. If you do that and you build relationships, they're automatically going to gravitate towards your posts and start commenting on their posts just on reciprocation, just based off that reciprocation of, oh, this person's done a lot for me. He's added a lot of value to my life. He hasn't asked for anything yet. I'm going to go and add a little bit of value back to their lives by commenting on their posts. And through that, you can get to 10, 20, 30, 50, hundreds of influencers eventually. And your posts are now going to blow up because you have those deep, genuine, intimate relationships. And lots of influencers are now commenting on your posts. So you can also do it without paying.
Yep.
I do both. I pay, so I have that consistency on every single post. And then I also build relationships with people like you, with people like Justin Welsh and tons of other people as well.
Sure. Cool, man. Well, that's two nice ways to build your network, get your content in front of a big audience, and ultimately
that's what people miss. They just think if they make the content, and it's great content, it's gonna have a lot of views. It's not how it works.
No.
You need distribution, which means other people with an engaged following that engage with you. That's a deal breaker. You need that. So if you go about that without paying or with paying, whichever way you do it, just make sure it actually works.
This distribution is one of the things that hamstring many marketing strategies. So it's just like starting a podcast. You can start a podcast. You might start with no listeners. You've got to get it in front of people, whether that's sharing on social, sharing it to email lists, putting it on your website, getting your guests to share it, starting SEO flowing through putting out blogs and articles and all that good stuff. So yeah, like many things, it needs to get distributed in front of the right people to get the results you want. So yeah, nice summary, dude. So that's pretty much it, I think, in terms of today's show. Are there any final notes that you think people need to consider before we wrap things up, sir?
I think that's it. I think we covered it. I mean, I've been able to get about 2,000 new followers a month on LinkedIn with my strategy. Well, another thing you could do is if you have another social media, like I had Twitter, I was banned like a month and a half ago. I had a good amount of followers on there, and I used to just take the best content, the content that performed the best on Twitter, and repurpose it to LinkedIn. And Twitter was kind of like, I tested it on there, and the best content, I just took that, and I knew some content performed amazingly on Twitter, and I kind of repurposed it for LinkedIn, posted it. It didn't perform well, but most of it did. Most of it at least had some kind of translation. If you have another platform that you could test your content out on, do it, and then just take the best content and put it on LinkedIn. That's what I would recommend as well.
Yeah, that's a smart idea because it's already got a good amount of engagement and people enjoyed it. I've got one other point which has just come to my mind. Now, and feel free to say this is a load of BS, but I know some people that post on LinkedIn say before you put out a piece of content, if you want it to perform its best, you need to warm up the algorithm, in inverted comments, meaning you need to, there's different people have got different ways of describing this, but you need to comment on X amount of posts or like X amount of posts or do these things that basically show, so when you're scrolling on the LinkedIn feed on your mobile, your PC, whatever, you can see that Tyres like this post or Tyres comment on this post. So you do that on several posts. So it warms up the algorithm, so it gets your name out there. Let's say you do a post every morning before you do your morning post, and then your post is going to get more traction. What are your thoughts on that?
I have no thoughts on that. Does that actually work? That's dope.
I don't know, but I've heard it from a few guys on LinkedIn. So I kind of do it. So I might wake up in the morning, set up, and then engage on a few posts and then put mine out. Not that I can say I've got a massive strategy like I know some do, kind of comment on certain influencers, like people with high networks, large networks like you were talking about, and then they'll put their own post out. But that's not something you've done much of, I guess.
I mean, I know it's important. I don't do it right before I post. I just do it whenever. And it's definitely part of my strategy, commenting on other people's posts, but not necessarily right before I post. And I mean, take a look at my engagement. If you think it's good, then maybe it's unnecessary, but maybe it would help.
Whatever you're doing, it's working, sir. So with that, Ty, thanks very much for coming on, man. Enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for sharing your tips, and do tell us more about how people can learn from you, a bit more about your business, and a bit the best way for people to get in touch.
Absolutely. So quickly, I mean, best way to get in touch, ty@tyfrankel.com. Shoot me an email. Always respond. Most of the time, respond. Shoot me a good email. That's worth responding to. Man, I own a growth platform and a community for agency owners called Agency Empire. And how I created this is I basically tried to think, okay, what was the way I could help agency owners scale the most in the most leveraged way and just provide them with everything they need. And we're doing that with Agency Empire. So you come in, you get discounts on 19, I think, software products now. It's going to be over 50 within a couple months. There's master classes, there's live Q&As, there's workshops. There's a community aspect to it. There's no effort networking. So we build your network for you. We build you a referral alliance. You could sell your agency on the back end. There's buyers and investors that we have. Definitely missing a couple things. There's service partners. So we work with like SEO people and Google Ads people and no-code automation consultants. Anyone who you'd possibly want to hire to scale as an agency, we have on board. Put them through a very stringent vetting process to make sure they'll get you the results that you need. And yeah, I mean, try it out. It's like $1 for 14 days. I mean, if you don't like it, you lost $1. I mean, if you're scared about losing $1, don't try it. But if you can afford to lose $1, try it out. See if you like it. If you don't, no harm, no foul. Agencyempire.to. Yeah, I mean, my plan is to get that thing to 3,000 members within 12 months. We have some really cool things lined up, some really cool partnerships as well with some big companies. Excited.
Nice one, man. And we'll put all those links over on the show notes at businessgrowth.marketing. And with that, I want to thank you for coming on once again.
Thank you, Sam. It's a pleasure.
No worries, man. And as always, if you enjoyed today's show, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We interview business leaders each and every week to provide actionable marketing tips to grow your business and grow your sales revenue. And with that, we should catch you on the next one.